What's good, people? Thank you as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. All right, let's talk about this rumor that just doesn't go away. Wladimir Klitschko to Dazn. I've not spoken about this subject before. A, because there seems to be a rumor every other week, let's be honest. And B, more importantly, because Wladimir Klitschko has not spoken about it. Wladimir Klitschko has not said one word about any of these offers that Dazn have made him. But the latest one seems like it might have a bit of legs, right? The latest offer we're hearing is that Dazn have offered Wladimir Klitschko a free fight deal worth $60 million, which is just a starting figure. We know now that Dazn can go anywhere near any figure, right? I mean, Deontay Wilder was offered $120 million for a free fight deal. I think GGG something like that as well. And Canelo has got $360 million for an 11 fight deal. So we know they can go more. So that's the opening offer. Can they just leave Wladimir Klitschko alone? Can we just let the man retire in peace, right? I mean, Wladimir Klitschko is, 43 years old. He's not fought for, 2.5, 3 years. And he seems happy in retirement. But they keep trying to put him out of retirement. I can understand why. Wladimir Klitschko still looks in fantastic shape. There was a picture of him circulating recently with Alexander Usyk. Still looks great. I don't know if that was on the back of a spar, but still looks good, right? And if he is sparring someone like Alexander Usyk, that means he's keeping sharp. He's keeping his tools sharp. And he wasn't exactly a man that was beaten into retirement, if that makes sense. I know it's coming off the back of 2 losses, Fury and Joshua, but it wasn't like this guy was getting continually knocked out, which is kind of what happens to fighters at the end of their career, especially top fighters, when you think of likes of Roy Jones, for example. So he still is very much serviceable. And I think the biggest thing they're trying to pull him back for is the fact that Wladimir Klitschko had this Hall of Fame career. No doubt. When you look at Wladimir Klitschko's career on paper, it's a top 10 heavyweight of all time. It really is, on paper. I mean, the amount of defenses he had, world champion for 9 years, but he didn't really have the fights that he wanted to have, right? There was no real good dance partners. And the funny thing is, in his last 2 fights, the last 2 defeats, he's finally got dance partners. Tyson Fury, dance partner. Joshua, dance partner. The kind of fights that the whole world cared about. Now, as a boxing fan myself, I liked the fights against Pulev and Povetkin. I thought they were great performances, but I don't know if those fights circulated around the world. The last 2 fights certainly did, the one against Tyson Fury and especially the one against Anthony Joshua. So I wonder if that kind of eats at him a little bit, that when he was in his peak, when he was in his mid-30s, those guys weren't about. Now, at the end of his career, 43 right now, I say end of his career, he has retired, those guys are now around, right? So there are big fights out there for him. There are those dance partners that maybe he didn't have in his heyday. I just mentioned Tyson Fury and Joshua. Those are fights he already had, but obviously Dillian White's there now. Deontay Wilder is there as well as a possible option. So there are big options out there for him. And we heard about the money. There is big money. The thing is, though, Wladimir Klitschko doesn't look like someone that needs the money. I mean, him and his brother, they kind of ran the show for ages, and I don't think he's the kind of person that went out and bought Bugattis and Rolexes every week. He financially is okay. That's why it's going to be difficult to put him out of retirement, because he doesn't need the money. Unlike most fighters that retire, in fact, I'd say 99% of fighters that retire, they always come back for that one big payday. Wladimir Klitschko just isn't that. He doesn't require any financial assistance. He is doing just fine. So I do wonder how true these stories are. I do believe there has been conversation between Dazn and Klitschko. I mean, these rumors just don't come out of nowhere. But I wonder if financially they're paying him enough to come out of retirement. And B, what for, right? What for? This guy was a world champion for 9 years. This guy has, I think, the most title defenses of any boxer in the history of boxing, surpassing the likes of Muhammad Ali and Larry Holmes. So what's the want? What's the want? The only want is his last 2 fights he lost. No boxer, and speak to anyone, in fact, not even boxers, sports people, no boxer in particular wants to go out on the back of a loss. He's going out on the back of 2 losses. He might want to try and get a W in that column before he calls it quits. He might just want to. So I can actually see potentially him coming back for 1 more. Not 3 more. I can't see him doing a free fight deal, because a free fight deal will mean that he probably has to come back and fight for another 2 years. But 1 big one, he might just do. I don't know how the fans will perceive it. I mean, Anthony Joshua got enough stick fighting a guy that had a layoff for 1.5 years and fighting Wladimir Klitschko. I mean, what will the fans say now if he fights Wladimir Klitschko? He's been off for 3 years and coming back after being stopped by Anthony Joshua himself. I don't think the fans would accept it. So, I mean, there is a lot of thinking to do. There is a lot of questions to be asked, but we do know there has been an offer. So we do know Klitschko is speaking to Dazn, but I don't know if it's enough financially and enough in terms of a legacy fight for him to come back. What do you guys think? Is it enough for him to come back? I mean, Anthony Joshua is the unified heavyweight champion of the world. He is, and he doesn't have the WBC, but he does have all the other 4 belts. Is that a big enough fight for Dazn, for Klitschko, and for Joshua, more importantly? I don't know. I don't think so. What do you guys think? Let me know. Peace.